Of course, for those wondering, it's any percent Warpless, and here we go.
We are underway, and it looks like we have World 4. And with World 4 having only two pairs of pipes, and it being so early on, they're going to have to clear. They're
going to have to do it the vanilla route, I think is what you're trying to say. But they know that the vanilla route would have gotten them the lock, but they don't have a hammer to break it. And for those wondering, hammers can break rocks and locks. They can't build bridges. Everything else is randomized, including the levels, the enemy placement, the airship placement, and the Koopaling placement. And, of course, their hit points, but we'll get to that when we get to it. And Classic Gamer getting through that first level, which was a World 6 level, quite easily. Claris taking its sweet time.
Maddie, that's actually a beta level. It's not from the original game.
Well, it was obviously meant for World 6.
Yes. That's actually kind of it was one of those levels that looks like it could have been in the final game, other than it just being a little bit short. Interesting, yeah. Claris is going for the power-up at the bottom of 3-1.
And it's a vanilla spot, so... You know what? It's always a good extra hit point at the same time. And yeah, that was a lost level, and I goofed up. And hi, everybody. I'm Maddie. How you doing?
It does... The reason why I was questioning it is because it does take a significant amount of time to be able to grab them.
Because it is a water level, but it's that extra hit point. You know, it's that one piece of insurance. You don't know if there's something that could hit you.
You'll definitely see the runners go for power-ups quite a bit more in the early game, just because the randomizer does not have any sort of difficulty curve. You can get easy levels at the start, you can get hard levels at the start, and the game is going to be harder when you don't have power-ups, so you just need to be prepared for anything the game can throw at you.
And Claire's got to pick up a Fire Flower, and going on... gonna try to pick up a 5-up right off the bat. She's is it a she? I'm sorry. Is it a he or she?
I believe they're both guys. But as far as Classic's movement, that was a brilliant 5F1.
Beautiful.
ClassicGamer88. Being able to maintain P-speed during that fortress is very difficult.
And it's a difficult fortress in the first place. So kudos for that. No such luck for Claris not scoring a star there. I think they were going for the 3-star for the 5 stars with the 5-up. Let's see what kind of strategy they employed. They had as you can tell, it's difficult to maintain P level, so it's either take your time or go speedy. I think Claris is going for the take your time, make sure you don't die, which is risky.
Claris should be good enough at the game that lives shouldn't be an issue.
We'll see. This is a case of how the seeding works, and it's probably... We'll see. We'll see. It's too early to call.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with end cards. Because of the nature of SMB3's RNG function, the two players are going to get different boards for end cards if they choose to do the end cards. And there are arguments both for and against doing them. But from the experience that I have, I'm a huge fan of doing them.
Yeah.
Because they don't take a whole lot of time to do for the number of items that you get.
And of course, that board is randomized, so if you match something, it's not necessarily what you're going to see up there, that's what you're going to get. But it's always good for inventory. And I'm one of those guys that would like, in my 2 or 3 runs, I've always favored, and of course, not in speed gaming, but just regular runs, I've always favored items. Because I don't know what I'm getting next. I want to be ready just in case.
Items can make all the difference in this randomizer. If you get a very difficult stage, there are definitely cases where having extra items can be helpful. Although you definitely want to make sure that you actually use your items
Mhm.
Because getting 2-3 pages of inventory items won't do you any good if you never use them. And you have to know when to stop gathering items as well. And that is definitely a point that's up for debate in the community. You'll see some players say that just doing one full board is enough. You'll get some crazy people like me that think that you should do them all the way through World 6. But it's definitely up for debate, and you'll see many different strategies for item management in this tournament.
Classic Gamer got to go on to world number 2, scoring his first airship. Now I'm playing with power. Yeah, definitely. You are in the lead.
Claire's a couple stages behind.
Couple stages behind, and yeah, they're going for the end card. Gets a match. Gonna go for nope. Gets one item. Gets looking again. Gonna try again, and no dice. Only one item in this one, but it may come in helpful. Let's see.
Maddie, what is your stance on taking notes about the end card game? I've heard a couple of people that don't like doing it. I personally like doing it because even though the patterns are randomly generated, there are still 8 distinct patterns. So if you've just happened to get a pattern that you've already done, that's 9 free items. And what makes the end cards so valuable is that you can get hammers and clouds from them, which you can't in the vanilla game.
I always like to refer to the walkthroughs and the vanilla cards. You know, the one they take notes of all this. So my first game, I always would take a look at the vanilla cards, and then the second one, let's see how lucky I get. Second time wasn't too lucky.
That actually won't help you because because the patterns for the randomizer are completely new. They don't match any of the patterns in the vanilla game.
Yeah.
So if you do take notes, then you can run into a repeat pattern and get 9 items for free.
Yeah.
You may have noticed that a Classic Gamer had to do 5-9, which is one of the 2 auto-scrollers remaining in the game. And I do like that Classic is getting the Warp Whistle item in 1-3. This is a great play, especially early in the game.
Yeah, for those wondering, that you can't get the Warp Whistle themselves. They've been removed, but it's a free item.
Oh, Claris has a cloud from the end card game, so he'll be able to skip that auto-scroller.
That is huge.
That is going to allow him to make up a significant amount of time against Classic Gamer.
That is absolutely huge. And Claris, again, a little bit behind, but they're going to catch up easily. Of course, if you mentioned one of the 2 auto-scrollers, the other one is at one of the lost levels. And of course, all the airships, everything else has been de-auto-scrolled for the sake of let's just get this done as fast as possible.
That's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like the 100% category in the vanilla version of this game, because you do have to do all the auto-scrollers as opposed to Warpless.
One strat that I always found interesting was people, they would see a particular level, and they would skip that level by just doing a death, which is a good idea, I think. For the sake, if you think you could, which is a risk at the same time, because if you have another option, you go for that. Oh, I could beat that.
And Classic Gamer looks like his strategy for items is just going to be skipping all the items. He got the 160,000 point end card and declined to take it. So based on what I've seen of him so far, he just may not be interested in playing end cards. So Claris, if I were him, I would consider taking a death here and using that cloud. You do have to give up your leaf, though, and that's something he may not be comfortable giving up. Especially...
Yeah, this might be a case of, or it could be very useful later as well. I've seen people, you know, they've taken multiple deaths and they wound up winning because they've kept that one cloud or that one hammer.
It depends on your comfort level with the game.
Yeah.
If you're very skilled at the game, you'll want to save your clouds for either auto-scrollers or very long stages such as 7-5, or also underwater levels are very common for people to want to cloud pass, like the level that Classic Gamer is in right now. 6-6, this is a very common level to use a cloud in, because not only is it an underwater stage, but it's very, very lengthy.
And Clara scoring a 5-star frog splash, gets 5 lives. That's going to help him out a little bit. Meanwhile, Classic Gamer scoring another one-up himself, going right through to the third part of World 6.
Live should not be a concern for a Classic Gamer. He is very, very talented.
And as you can tell, he just happens to collect them because they happen to be in the item box at this point. He's very good.
So his strategy with items is mostly going to be taking out whatever Hammer Brothers get in his way, and he will be relying on that. Claris getting a P-Wing. P-Wings are mostly going to be useful for just another leaf, as well as there are a few stages where a P-Wing can be useful, like 6-9. You'll see a lot of people use P-Wings on certain airships. Especially the Air Force. You'll see a lot of less skilled players, or people who are just less comfortable with harder stages.
And Claris with another P-Wing.
You'll see players who are less comfortable with the randomizer.
Yeah.
You'll see them use a P-Wing on the Air Force that's normally in World 8. That's a common level you'll see added P-Wings used. It is slower, but the platforming in that level can be very, very perilous.
Of course, Classic Gamer going through the World 1 airship. Let's see, who do we get?
So when I sit down to play a seed, the things that I would recommend for new players to keep track of include what worlds have been played, what airships have been played, and the end card configurations. That way you can play, if you do choose to play end cards, you can play them as efficiently as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, you should be able to clear a board of end cards in 240,000 points, so 3 attempts at it, unless you get a very unlucky board. Then it can take 4. If you get very lucky, it can take 2, but most of the time it will take 3 attempts to be able to clear the board completely.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Classic Gamer scoring another world, going through World 3, and it's World 5 map. So we'll have, and a vanilla 5-1. How about that? How about that?
We can actually... Hey, we can actually yell at him because he was the one that made the randomizer. If it hasn't been said, we just can't stress enough that this tournament would not be possible without the work that Fred Coughlin has put into making this software as efficient as it has been, and how fresh it keeps the game.
Definitely, it would not be possible. And Claris scoring another couple of items. Let's see what we'll find out what he gets a little later.
Typically, when you see runners taking notes on the end card game, they'll usually run from one direction to another. Most of the runners I see that take notes open all the cards from left to right, top to bottom, or just some kind of organized fashion to make taking notes easier. Claris, unfortunately, taking a hit at the very start of the Underground Lake. Small Mario for this section is quite perilous.
That's rough, but we got a superstar. Not going for the star. Especially with the blooper up there. That's... Ugh. I'm nervous now.
I don't even bother hitting that block usually, just because of where it will spit your power-up out, even if it's a mushroom.
Bertha almost had a lunch there. Oh! Ooh!
A lot of close calls for Claris in this 6-6. Meanwhile, Classic, unfortunately, losing a leaf, but does make it to the end of Vanilla 2-3.
Yeah. And going through some Hammer Brothers and scores a star.
Stars are not bad, especially later in the game. Once you've accumulated a lot of items, you will see runners use their stars on Hammer Brothers, because you never know when you'll get double Fire Brothers in a very bad environment. Claris is in Beta 1-5 right now. One interesting note about the beta levels is that their contents are not actually randomized like the rest of the stages in the game. This is something that, from what I understand, Fred is hoping to correct in a future version of the randomizer. but the version of the randomizer will remain static for the group stages.
I must say, this is the first time I actually seen the beta for 1.5. It actually is very different.
And Claris is actually from these end cards has picked up a large quantity of clouds.
Yeah.
So if he uses these wisely, he should be able to make up a lot of ground on Classic.
Now, if it stops stuttering, that'd be nice. I'm only kidding. It's internet. What do you want? Anyway, he's going to go through the World 2 Fortress. P-Wing and... Nope. P-Wing, and speaking of betas...
This is a great level to have, to just have a P-Wing for. It can save a significant amount of time on an already short level. Claris using firepower to kill Boom Boom. That does save a few seconds for every fortress that you can... fire kill Boom Boom, but there is a trade-off to it with Claris's strategy, because Boom Boom, if you kill him with stomps, is worth 7,000 points, and the end card game shows up every 80,000 points. So one strategy that I've actually come up with recently with this randomizer is, if you can score points without wasting time, do it. Because you might be able to get one extra end card out of it, and that can sometimes make a difference in races. Very nice 4-3 from Classic Gamer.
Very nice. Going through it like a pro. And Classic Gamer having a... I don't know if it's having a difficult time, but taking a little longer to take care of... oh, no, never mind. Lag, everybody.
Of note, ClassicGamer88 does run vanilla, and he does have a very good time in vanilla.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of that experience from vanilla does translate over well into a randomizer, but you do need to be careful, because a lot of the strategies from vanilla are reliant on enemy placements, and you never know what kind of enemies you'll get. So if you play this game at an extremely high level, then that can actually be detrimental to your performance in randomizer.
Right now, Classic Gamer has about a 3-minute lead from my calculation over Claris, but anything can happen.
We still have World 7, we still have World 8, and depending on if he is familiar with his opponent, we might see Claris take some unusual pathing through World 7 and 8, because if he feels he's behind, he may take a risk on taking a slightly less efficient path in the hopes that it is the correct path. Now, another note on Claris's side is this is a stage where there's an alternate exit by way of an item that you can only really access if you have a P-Wing. So one thing that you might see a couple of runners do in this tournament is if they get that level and they have a significant amount of P-Wings, you'll see runners take a death and then use a P-Wing to fly up to the pipe that's located at the start, and then you can pick up an item. And not only will that complete the level, but you'll have the leaf for the next level as well. Unfortunately, it seems that these end card games are taking Claris a long time to finish. He may not be taking notes on where the cards are, because on the vast majority of boards, you'll be able to complete the end spade in 3 rounds, like I stated. So now Classic almost a full world ahead. He's one of those people that if he makes it out of his group will be very, very dangerous in the brackets.
Classic Gamer going there, meets Roy. How many hits is it going to take? That's 2. That's 3. That's D4. No, full 5. Meanwhile, Claris scores a frog suit.
Gimmick Soldier 152 in chat is asking about there being an item in 5-1. Yes, if you use a P-Wing at the start of 5-1, there is a pipe that takes you into a secret area, and if if you have flying power, you can duck and fly over to the right side of that area, and then you can
get it, and that ends your level. Now, the trade-off is, yes, you get done a little quicker. At the same time, though, there's the risk of you might trade your P-Wing for just a mushroom. Now, this not to say a mushroom's bad, but I think it's agreeable you'd want a hammer or a cloud or a star or a leaf in this case.
Speaking of clouds, look at all the clouds that Claris is sitting on. Claris is sitting on 4 clouds.
He could feasibly finish 8 without having to clear the action levels in the dark room.
I am not a big fan of that because I actually am a big fan of using all of my clouds prior to World 8 because there's only one spot where a cloud is generally useful.
Also, last time I checked, I thought I clicked it again. There we go. World 4 and it's World 1, as for those as you may have noticed. And one of the hand levels finally pops up.
Now, one note about the hand levels is that although the item in the hand levels is randomized, you will get the same item out of all 3 of these hand levels. So whatever item Classic gets is a star. So if he runs into any more of the hand levels, the item that he will get will be a star.
And once again, Claris scores another 5-star Frog Splash and goes after some Boomerang Brothers. Oh, and gets caught by a boomerang. God, greedy.
That's actually one of the reasons why I like to use stars if I have an abundance of them.
Yeah.
Claris, I don't believe, has an abundance of them. We'll see if Classic Gamer can get this star kill on Boom Boom. It's very, very tight from that second block. Does get it done. And that is something that he is very adept at from Vanilla. And Claris picking up a hammer. That's big.
That's huge.
That's big.
That's huge.
That is a hammer that ClassicGamer88 did not pick up because he was...
He's just trying to blow through it.
Exactly.
That hammer could be that could be the difference.
Claris is a bit behind right now.
Yeah.
But with Claris in World 5, if he uses that hammer immediately, he'll be able to skip 3 stages. That's the threshold where I think using a hammer is worthwhile, is if it will skip at least 3 stages. Some people also like to, if they run into World 3 and have 2 hammers, a double hammer, because that opens up 2 pipes to the end for free and can potentially skip 4 stages.
So we'll see if he picks up 2 hammers. That might be the strike we might be seeing.
No, he'll probably use his hammer here because it's too lucrative not to use.
Yeah, that's a big time saver, but we'll see. We're about to find out, and of course, Claris makes it to the sky.
Yes, very intelligently using the hammer there.
Good idea, yeah.
So that will allow Claris to play quite a bit of catch up. And if Claris can get P-Speed here and fly up to the top of this fortress, there's also an extra item that he'll be able to pick up here.
Where the whistle might be, and like, there you go.
And it is also a little bit faster. And
gets a hammer suit.
The hammer suit is very key. You want to have at least one of those by the end of the game, because typically the way most players will try to kill Bowser is with a hammer suit. It saves about 30 seconds over other methods of killing Bowser.
Because literally the hammer, instead of just it's one hit per frame, or there's a number of frames. If I remember correctly.
You are correct. You are correct. The hammers on all enemies will do damage every frame, and that can be relevant for Boom Boom as well. Typically, one hammer contact will kill Boom Boom because Boom Boom only has 5 HP. Now, Bowser, if Bowser takes a little bit longer to fire kill, that's what you'll see people that don't have hammer suits do. But it does take 32 fireballs. And Classic Gamer getting World 3, we'll see if we have World Free. Is it
World Free? Is it? Ooh, we have it. Yes, we do!
World Free!
I'm about to hit the number 5 button, folks. That's out. Or the number 6, actually. We're about to find out. This Now, if you want to run a vanilla, which, by the way, in the speed run race, you don't. That's a lot of items you're skipping, but no, we'll see. He's got enough of a lead that if he feels like it, he could have just said, okay, let's see what we can pick up at that mushroom house. And Wendy's a 2-hit kill, too.
Man, this seed
that is a speedy World 3.
This seed is, in general, is just proceeding at lightning pace.
You're thinking maybe in the sub-50s?
Oh, for Classic, easily. Unless we have a very, very trolly endgame.
Ooh.
I love to see World Free, though. Because World 3 can be quite a bit of guesswork, especially if you don't have especially if you don't have a hammer. Now we're hitting World 7. This is
how free is it?
We'll see.
We'll see how the run. I don't know.
I actually disagree with this call by Classic Gamer. The reason why I disagree with this call is because you have to do 2 stages to open up one pipe, whereas if he does a 7-1, that will open up 1 pipe for 1 level.
We'll see. We'll see if the strat pays off. It's a risk. I have to say it is a risk. I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. We shall soon see. Right now, he's not going through that bad of a bunch of action zones.
I guess that could be another reason why, is because he knew he was going to hit 480,000 points, which would allow him to skip an end card. So if he wanted to go backwards to be able to get back to that first pipe, then he would need to do the end card. And if he's skipping end cards, then this is actually a little bit faster. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, it takes a hit.
Very, very rude. I think that was a Paragoomba.
Paragoomba just flying over, saying, hi, I'll take your tail now.
That's something that Classic is actually going to have to be very, very careful of. Oh, no, it's a Micro Goomba, not a Paragoomba.
Micro Goomba. But let's see. Oh, just Buzzy Beetle.
Very nice job at dealing with that. But when a Micro Goomba falls on top of you from on top of the stage, there is nothing you can do.
That's some trollage right there. Major league trolling.
So we'll see if this is the pipe that Classic Gamer needs. Note that Classic doesn't. Oh wow!
Oh
wow!
And yeah, he's gonna take a death because of that.
He's gonna take a death in Cloud.
Yeah, he's gonna turn back. He's gonna have to backtrack.
That's probably the best level in the game to Cloud.
Yeah.
With 5-9 being the second best.
Yeah.
I was going to say that having a hammer can be an advantage going into World 7, because instead of having to find 1 pipe, you can find 1 of 2 pipes.
Yeah.
Claris getting his 4th try at this board. If he's been taking good notes, should be able to clear this and pick up the rest of the items. And it looks like he will.
Looks like he will. Yeah, he is. Clears the board, picks up the last 4 items up there. What will he get? We shall find that later.
Very nice 6F3 by Classic.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that this is the face of somebody who has run vanilla for a very, very long time. Classic has a 116 in 100%, which is a very, very good time. I want to say the record's just under an hour 11. Oh, that's a nasty death on Claris's.
Yeah.
All the way back to the beginning of that level. And Classic Gamer, not needing any more items, is going to use his music box to skip the Piranha Plant stage and go straight to the thruster airship.
Yeah. And gonna make it he's widening that lead. Ooh. And we know what we have left at. Wow, hold on. I'm a little too early here.
I believe World 2 is left.
World 2 is left. Now I get the 7 button. There we go. Wolf.
So unless World 8 is extremely trolly, Classic will sub 50 this for sure.
This is this. It depends on how. Well, no, it's World 12, World 2. How many? He doesn't have. He'll have to do mostly vanilla in World 2, right?
I don't believe, has picked up a single hammer.
He has not picked up a hammer. He'll have to do a vanilla World 2, or as vanilla as possible.
Vanilla World 2 is not too terrible. And one other note is that he will not be able to pick up a hammer because the World 7 at the end is the only world that will not give you an item, because instead of getting a letter from the princess, you get a letter from Bowser.
Yeah.
Nice star on a Classic side. We'll be able to deal with the respawning cheap sheet for a little while. Does have an ice block in hand to deal with anything else that gets in his way.
And the cheap sheet gets him to small Mario before clearing.
Not a lot you can do.
Revenge of the cheap sheep.
But overall, Classic just having the run of his life right now. Does use his last non-hammer suit item, and Classic very happy to have used it on this level, because this level is not a fun one. Typically, you'll see a lot of runners not as adept at the vanilla game go into the Sand of Shame to pick up a power-up. It's not that much slower because it spits you out at the end of the level, and you do get a power-up.
Claire's finally getting World 4. Now, let's see how quickly he'll go through World 3.
And
does he check his pipes? Yes, he does. So he's going to make it through. And Claire's...
Oh no! 6F2 fly. That's a very difficult trick.
And he was on his way too. Oh, I feel bad for him.
So items could actually become a factor depending on the kind of levels that are to come in this world and World 8, because the only item that he has right now, other than a handful of stars, is that hammer suit, and you want to save that hammer suit. You need to save the hammer suit for Bowser.
And I think he's obviously taking that strat. Well, obviously, and Claris gonna make it to World. I think that's number 6, isn't it? I forgot to hit the button again.
Details. So we'll be able to see where Claris winds up. Yes, he is on his 6th world now.
There we go. Now I could switch it. See because you're concentrating on 2 screens, not on the tracker sometimes, you know. Anyway, now on to Classic Gamers going through another World 6 level. Nice jump there. We'll clear that up real quick.
Classic has about a world and a half lead, but it may as well be 1 world or even less of a lead, because you have to remember Claris does have 3 or 4 clouds, which I imagine he's going to use those to skip most of his 7th world. That's a very common strategy you'll see. You'll see runners hoard their clouds until the very end of the game, or just use them on levels they don't like. But any levels that if you have any excess clouds, you'll typically see them dumped in the last world. It depends on the world order, which is one of the big reasons why you want to keep track of world order. I'm a little surprised that Claris is going to take the end cards at this point, because he is on a fresh board, and your odds of getting a lot of items off of a fresh board this late into the seed are pretty low. Claris taking the long way through this level. He may not know that it is still shorter to take the pipe with the power-up and go straight to the end. But it looks like he should get through this level all the same.
Classic Game just avoiding the boss bass. And gets through the pipe, avoiding the micro cheap sheep, and where he's done here.
We actually have seen quite a few of the beta levels in this seed, I believe.
Yeah, we've actually, I think we've seen, 6 of them so far.
I haven't
by my last count.
But there are definitely a lot of them. Classic down to a single hammer and a star, and it looks like he's going to go for the wall jump.
He's got some time.
I think he caught the wall jump pixel, but mistimed it. This is not an easy thing to do. This is pixel perfect, frame perfect. But if you're somewhat consistent at it, it is faster to do this than go through the entire level, because it's underwater. And
he got it. There we go. He got it.
Gets it.
And the boss pass right there to say, "Hey, where do you think you're going?"
He almost got eaten, actually.
Oh, almost got harmlessly ribbed by the big boss pass, but no, gets it through. Gets for this last airship.
Airship 7 is not easy to do.
No, it's
to do small. For someone of his skill level, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But
that star is going to help him a little bit, though.
Typically on this airship, you'll see a lot of runners fall out of this level and then use either a P-Wing or a Leaf, because having a Leaf makes the platforming at the end of this airship so much easier.
Yeah, makes it through.
And of note, Claris did use all but one cloud, and it looks like he
and the music box
does use his cloud in his music box, making his way to the airship. So now he's a little over a world behind. Claris actually playing very, very well. Just unfortunately, his opponent is playing extraordinarily well. I only think have we seen any deaths from Classic besides that one?
We've seen probably 1 or 2. Claris only had 1 or 2 deaths as well. They've been playing pretty well, actually.
It's just that vanilla experience. That vanilla experience.
It's a vanilla experience, and Claris just decided to take the safe route, I guess, which is trying to pick up as many irons as possible. Now, this is where this could all change, though, because if the tunnels are trolly, this might get closer and closer. We'll see.
It really depends, because I believe Claris still has a hammer. I'm not entirely sure.
Still has a hammer. Could use in a World 7 save himself half a level, but we'll see. Also,
Claris
will
probably use it in 7, because you can use 2 hammers in World 7, each of which skip 3 stages. And again, that's the threshold where you typically want to cash out a hammer. Is 3 stages. Oh, Claris used the hammer. So both of our runners will be going through this vanilla, looks like.
So this is now just a case of how are the tunnels going to be for Classic Gamer today? And oh my God, we got a free one!
Instant World 8
over. Oh, and of course we got the easy fort.
This is Classic's race to lose. He won't sub 40 this, but he will easily sub 45.
This is an easy sub 45 here. We'll see once he picks up. We get to pick Tanuki suit.
Just absolutely blistering fast seed tonight.
This seed was a fast seed, and ooh, Claris is gonna beat himself up just a tiny bit now. And Classic Gamer gonna go through that for the last boom boom of the game.
Again, Sand of Shame is not necessarily a bad thing, because it's only a little slower and nets you a power up.
It's the trade-off in this one, but now we get to see Bowser and going the Tanuki route.
Oh, interesting. He forgot to use his power up. So
you know what? We'll see. We'll see. He's going through the castle fairly quickly. Clips through that.
Easiest clip in the game.
Oh,
Easiest clip in the game. Anybody can do it. But it looks like Classic will not have firepower or a hammer suit right before Bowser, so he will need to kill Bowser the intended way, and that's a significant loss of time. But he's so far ahead at this point that this is...
At this point, it doesn't exactly matter.
I like these Tanuki strats.
And of course, for those wondering, yeah, the only hitbox here is the head. So yeah, all he has to do is duck, and he's doing that. He's crouching and using that clip and the statue. I mean, I've heard of worse ways to take out the King Bowser. And gets it done.
Down goes Bowser into the pit. And Classic will get a sub 41. This is impressive. What an amazing time. Amazing run by Classic.
He's going to beat himself up. He had a hammer suit. He had a sub 40.
No, he would have... No, if he had hammered Bowser... If he'd hammer killed Bowser, he would have a 40 LX.
Yeah.
It doesn't save that much time.
Classic Gamer wins it. Unofficial time, 40 minutes, 42 seconds. We'll have to go through the SLR, see if we could confirm that time, but that is impressive.
Amazing.
Sub 41.
Amazing play from Classic Gamer, and like I said, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the brackets. So,
Classic Gamer moving up to 2-0 in this group, in Group B.
So if you want to if you want to get in those brackets and you want to avoid playing him first round, you better win your group.
Win your group, and be sure not to collect that. And if you have a fast seed, forget the items. Just go straight through is what we see.
Well, you never know what kind of seed.
Again, going for all the one-ups.
You never know what kind of seed you're going to get. So, items versus no items is it's definitely runner preference. But if you're confident that you can go through the game quickly with minimal items, like Classic is, then by all means do it. But if you're not so adept at the game, then those items can definitely get you out of dangerous situations. And if you pick up a bunch of hammers, you can definitely gain an advantage on somebody who's just going straight through the game. And Claris is by no means a bad player.
No slouch here. He's playing a very, very solid game. It's just Classic Gamer just taking advantage of that slippery fast seed. Hopefully he'll join us in here for the rest of this. He's gonna be here a while. I get the feeling. Meanwhile, we'll take a look at how Claris is doing. Again, Boss Bass in this level. Ugh. What's he trying to do? He's trying to get the star. He's item hunting. By the way, give a GG to Classic Gamer.
Oh, absolutely.
That was an epic G. That was an epic G.
Give both of these runners a follow. They both deserve all the follows that we can give them. They've both put on amazing performances. This time that Claris is going to put up is, based on what we've seen of the rest of the seed, is going to be probably a 47 or so. And that is not a bad time at all.
No, this is, considering how lightning quick some of those. And of course, Classic will set up in a few minutes. He could take his time here. Ooh, flying up.
That's what you'll typically see most people do when they encounter 6-9, is take an intentional death, use a P-Wing, and say, see you later, level.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
But it looks like we will get Classic in. We will get Classic in here momentarily.
Oh yeah, momentarily. Classic, if you can hear us, take your time. There we go. GG Classic Gamer joins us in the call for the rest of in the booth. GG 40 minutes 42. How do you feel about that?
That is pretty insane, to say the least.
Did you forget about the hammer suit? I'm curious.
I knew I had the hammer suit, but at that point, I thought about that one silly death that I have, which was the only death. And I said, you know what? I'm going swag with the Tanuki.
because
based on how quick you were going, you had a sub 40 going there.
Yeah, I can blame that one death in 642, and that's probably, again, the big reason why I didn't use the hammer. or the hammer suit, if I saw that I was going to make the sub 40, I would have definitely used it on.
That's such a tough trick, though. 6F2 fly is so hard.
Yeah.
It's something that you'll see a lot of less experienced runners go for half of it, because flying underneath the first half still saves time, and it's very easy to do. It's just flying under that second part is what's so tight. And I imagine when you're at the level that you are, that can kill a lot of runs in vanilla as well.
No, definitely. To be honest, that's the first time I've died, like, at least on the first part, in a long time. The problem was I hit just barely that corner, and that's what made me lose the momentum. And right when I went to go fly, I knew I was dead, and I said I should have just went the other way, but too late.
It can be difficult to make those decisions on the fly. So with that, that puts you to 2-0 in your group. So now, I believe with the way our runners are in your group, you have secured a playoff berth.
Oh, it definitely. Well, we'll see. We'll see. You never know. But
I can actually check the standings real quick.
yeah, we could check it. We could. We'll have to update the results in a few minutes. But Claris decided to go with the get all the items route. I actually had a tough time with the cards.
I am looking, and I believe the way that this bracket has fallen so far, I believe Classic has actually secured a berth.
Yeah.
Because the only way that 2-0 does not secure a berth in the playoffs is if there are three people with 2 wins, which given the way his group is so far, I don't believe it is possible for 3 people to have 2 wins in his group.
Hey, either way, even if he didn't have, even if there was a 3-way tie, 40 minutes, 42 seconds, that's huge.
But at the very least, he is guaranteed another race.
Yes. Meanwhile, Claris finally checking the pipes. Again, the strategy is solid. And he'll finish up in a few minutes. Probably going to use that hammer suit. No, no. It goes. No, it doesn't go to. I thought it was going to go to Nuki. Hammer suit star.
Hammer suit star is standard for the beginning, just because.
You want to avoid them lasers.
Bowser lasers are kind of weird. Sometimes you can run underneath them, sometimes you can't. I want to say it's... Well, Classic would know. I want to say it's sub-pixel dependent.
It seems like it is sub-pixel and frame dependent, because I same issue with me trying to go under. Like, oh, I still got hit, barely.
Claris trying to get through that clip the wall there, but just not having a good time.
It's definitely the easiest clip in the game, but it's not necessarily easy.
No. It's the easiest clip to get, but not by any means easy. But he'll get it. He's got to get it done. Just avoids that one last laser.
Speaking of clips, I'm a little disappointed we didn't see 7-1 or 7-6 in the seed.
I know.
I thought that was pretty odd.
That was odd, but you guys got a lot of beta levels here. And to end, Claris takes down the king.
There's the hammer kill. So Claris is going to get a 48 XX,
which is pretty good.
48 XX, which is a great time, and that would win against a lot of other players in this tournament, but not against Classic. And Claris finishing up
48-52
with a 48-52.
That's a respectable time, definitely.
This is a very good time here. That's it done. 48-52 to 42 to 48-52. Hey, this is still a good score.
And it looks like we will get Claris in here.
All right, we'll have a full group in a few minutes. Come on in, Claris. All right. Meanwhile, we'll do the plugs real quick. For those, of course, twitch.tv/classicgamer88, clarisdatcom/ClassicGamer88/RycoWriter. And of course, twitch.tv/RVT Entertainment on my end. And for those wondering, yes, I do have I have a podcast at 10 p.m. later this evening. In case you're wondering, it is a wrestling podcast, so come join me a little later. But for right now, we'll have Claris come in real quick.
It looks like Claris is ready, so whenever he decides to hop over, we'll be able to get some words, and it looks like there is Claris.
And Claris, GG4852, not bad at all.
That's an amazing time for a Mario 3 randomizer. That would win against most people in this tournament, but unfortunately you ran up against ClassicGamer88, one of the greats in vanilla Super Mario Bros. 3, and a lot of those skills do carry over to the randomizer.
Oh, I knew about the skills I was running up against. I was just focusing on my own time, my own game, and not to embarrass myself. And that's my first sub 50, so I'm pretty happy.
Hey, you know what? Hey, win-win. Win-win. That definitely helps. You were having a hard time with the match card game a little bit there in the first one. You were having a hard time clearing the board.
I go through a set pattern, and I mean, it just wasn't falling early, but I was taking notes. It fell. It was a third or fourth in. I ended up clearing the board. It was all right.
We were wondering if you were taking notes. I definitely do recommend that to new players that are playing the end card game, is to take notes. And we figured that the hammers that you got from the end card game and the Hammer Brothers might get you back into this race, but it just wasn't quite fast enough. Classic just played out of his mind for the entire race. I think he only had 1 or 2 deaths.
1 death.
Just the one death.
I knew if I was going to have a chance at it, I needed a good mix of hammers and clouds from the end card game. I mean, I got plenty of clouds, but the hammers weren't there, so I kind of figured things were going down.
I think you only saw 1 or 2 hammers in the entire seed, and at this point in the tournament, it can definitely be a good strategy to go for them, just because doing an end card typically takes about the same time as half of a level to a level, where if you get a hammer from the end card game, that skips 3 levels usually.
Yeah, it was kind of unfortunate the way the Hammer Brothers worked out that I saw. I mean, I did get it in 5, and I did skip the back half, most of the back half of 5, but
Classic
is what it is.
Classic did not play a single end card game, and he only fought Hammer Brothers that were in his way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my skill level. I mean, I do appreciate my crutches, so I did take a little bit of advantage to try to get as much as I could.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's definitely a topic of debate, and you'll see, I think throughout the course of this tournament, you'll see runners who have better times in vanilla spend less time gathering items, but just being able to, especially in the group stages, hammer through locked doors and just get extra clouds to skip all those nasty stages. That will definitely let people who are less familiar with the game compete with the greats.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, do either of you two have any words about the seed that you want to share with us that you haven't already?
No. I think it was pretty nice and straightforward, and I'm happy with what happened there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think you're our Discord's going nuts over here. We're gonna go good game again, once again, gentlemen. Coming up for those in the pipeline, for those wondering, tomorrow, a couple of matches coming up this weekend. Mitch Flower Power versus Adirondack Rick. That'll be coming up on Saturday, February 10th, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have on channel to be determined, and on Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, RycoWriter over here takes on Super Bullet Will.
And that's actually an important match on my end, because winning this match will also secure me a spot in the bracket. And then our real busy night is going to be Monday. We have a quadruple header going on Monday at 5:30 Eastern. We have Sharky 2107 and Gimp Extreme, and then we have 3 amazing pairs of runners. after that. At 8 o'clock, we have Tirjanak and Skybills. Skybills is a runner to keep an eye on because she is currently ranked #1 on the SRL leaderboards for SMB3 hacks. And we're going to have Big John and Sharky on that match. After that, we have a 9:30 p.m. match between Jedab and the madman himself, Fred Coughlin. That will be covered by Big John and myself. Yep. And then at 10 p.m., we have a match between Justin Man 114 and Jabum X. Jabum X, known for his work on he is actually a runner of a ROM hack called Super Mario Bros. 3 Mix, and he has the world record in, I believe, every category for that game. So he is no slouch either, and that will be covered by Sharky2107 with a co-commentator to be determined. But that is our schedule for the next several days.
And of course, all the schedule, all the things, including everything you need to know how you can play this game, available in the description. Of course, the chat room as well. That's going to do it for us. Claris, Classic Gamer, GG, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And shout outs to Mario Party, because that's what I felt like I played with this, getting all those stars.
The first game that came to mind for me was Super Mario 64, but that works. In any case, to all of us at Speed Gaming, our runners, commentators, restreamer, tracker, I am Riker Rider, and
my name's Manny J. You have yourself a good evening, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good night.